Ohio State's entering its second bye week with a 7-0 record, and we got a chance to talk with Ryan Day for about 10 to 15 minutes as they head off into the bye week. And I asked him about the running back hierarchy, and more importantly, is this the perfect time to start to solidify that? Because right now it feels like there's four guys who are in the mix here, and it's Bo Jackson, James Peoples, C.J. Donaldson, and Isaiah West. And I just wanted to know if, when you got 2 weeks like this, and obviously it's going to be a home stretch after this, is this where you want to solidify things? And Ryan Day, long answer short, essentially said no. Like, they're not there yet. They want to see a lot of these young guys who haven't played a lot of football play, which is why we haven't seen many games where guys have had 10-plus carries in them. I think that C.J. Donaldson had a game early where he had 10-plus carries. I think Bo Jackson had 10-plus carries against Washington, but there hasn't been a lot of those opportunities. So I guess there's two things to look at here. One, do you believe him, Stefan? And two, is this the right approach to be taking this late into the season?
I think the answer is yes to both. I do believe him, and I think it's the right approach. And now the way we view it maybe might be a little bit different, like in terms of like our opinion or our predictions for where this goes. But I think he's right. I mean, at the end of the day, did Isaiah West look good against Wisconsin? Did he pop a couple runs against Wisconsin? Yeah, but he's still a true freshman who that Wisconsin game was kind of the only game where he's gotten some real reps, right? And we can't – I think as a coach, if you just look at that and say, all right, that's our second best guy, it's probably jumping the gun a little bit, right? That's a true freshman who's only really had one true game of experience, whereas C.J. Donaldson has a track record of being a pretty good running back. James Peoples is a guy that you still thought, at the beginning of the year was going to be the number one guy. Maybe he's still coming along. Bo Jackson, probably the best guy right now and probably the most consistent this season, still a true freshman. So I don't hate the idea of Ohio State saying, hey, I know it's November, I know it's the home stretch of the regular season, but we can still learn a lot about Isaiah West and James Peoples and Bo Jackson, even C.J. Donaldson. So that's probably the right approach to not have a hierarchy yet. But you and I talked about it on Buckeye Talk, just kind of what we think about this running back room, who is number one, who's number two. Like, we tried to come up with our hierarchy, and we agreed that we think Isaiah West is probably the number two guy, but I think that's a prediction, right? Like, we're taking what we saw against Wisconsin. We think that's going to carry forward, and what we've seen from CJ and James, maybe a lack of consistency, might carry forward, and that's why we think Isaiah West, along with Bo Jackson, is kind of a top two option for this team. But us predicting that does not mean Ohio State should circle and say, boom, good game against Wisconsin, that's our number two guy. I don't think they need an answer right now. I think the Michigan game is kind of the one I have circled where it's like, all right, Michigan beyond start to have some answers, but you still have a game against Penn State who has decent players on their defense, even if they're not necessarily performing as a unit the way we expected, but they have good players that can do things to affect your running game. And then you have the stretch of UCLA, Purdue, and Rutgers where those aren't great defenses. They're not going to test you a ton, but it's chances to get all four guys some more reps and see who can start to build some consistency. Again, I think it's going to be Isaiah West with Bo Jackson, who emerges and becomes a bit more consistent and is your number two option by the time you get to Michigan. But stepping back and still reassessing it, considering the bye week and the schedule that's ahead, I don't think that's a bad approach. You don't have to have an answer today.
This is a fun question to ask you because you're Mr. Anti-Rotate Anywhere.
Not true.
It's going to be true for right now. For the sake of this conversation, it'll be true. What if they don't build a hierarchy? What if they just have four guys, and it just depends on the day who Carlos Locklyn, and more importantly, the situation that Carlos Locklyn sends out there? Is that going to make you feel a little queasy, a little uneasy? What if they just never establish a hierarchy?
Yeah, that would be bad. I think.
Yet he says it's not true.
Yeah, there are positions where I think you want to rotate. I think you want to rotate on the defensive line. I think you can rotate it in very specific other ways. This is a conversation about the offensive line where we've kind of had that rotation topic where I've been very anti-rotation on the offensive line if you can avoid it. The thing with running back is that we had been talking, Stephen, you might have asked Ryan Day like a week or two ago, what's too many? I think that might have been you. Is how many running backs is too many in the rotation? I think 4 is too many to go into an important game and say, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And not just tell us that I don't know, guys, well, I guess we'll have to see. You know how the coaches do that thing where it's like, hey, well, is he going to be available to play this week? I don't know. We'll check the availability report 90 minutes before the game, and then you'll know. Not that. If the coaches are genuinely we're just going to ride the hot hand, I think 4 is too many because how do you get 4 guys in a rhythm? How do you get 4 guys engaged? How do you get 4 guys going in a path where it's like, hey, we really like what Bo did that series. Is it now a Bo game? And how did you decide that Bo went first? And blah, blah, blah. So I don't think you want to be in this position. I think kind of watching the way that Ryan Day answered that question, I think you got another question about like the running game in general, and the word unacceptable was used. And he wasn't saying schematically, he was kind of talking about like guys getting in the backfield. He was like, there are individual breakdowns, and I think he was kind of talking about the offensive line. But I don't think Ohio State's running backs have necessarily helped themselves a ton this year, and I think he's kind of asking for that. I think he's wanting these running backs to definitely take that next step. So that's just the position that they're in. I don't think this is a by design grand plan by Ohio State. Like we've seen it kind of work well with we're going to play it slow and open it up as the year goes on. I don't think this was in the best laid plans of Ohio State, right? I don't think they wanted to have this running back kind of confusion, this running back depth chart where you're like, hey, we could play 4 guys, because I don't think it's, hey, look, we have 4 guys. I think it's, we have 4 guys and we don't know. So that to me is the difference. So I think you want to find a 1-2 punch here. I don't know if Bo Jackson's completely healthy right now. I think this bye week might help him. I think we'll have a better answer coming into the Penn State game. So we'll have, you have Bo Jackson to talk about. Then we'll see. I think it's going to be very telling, because Ohio State's not going to take this Penn State game lightly. For as much as they are struggling this year, they are under 500, they are a 3-4 team. Like, as much as they're just maybe not even headed towards a bowl game, that doesn't mean Ohio State's going to treat them like a Maryland. It doesn't mean Ohio State's going to treat them like a Purdue. So I think we're going to find out how they think of Isaiah West. And frankly, if you get through the Penn State game and it's Bo Jackson and Isaiah West, you're 1-2, I think that is kind of what they think internally can be that running back hierarchy. I think they're looking for it. They just haven't found it yet.
I don't think they're looking for a hierarchy. I think that's like, I think both of you are talking about this in a world of like, they don't know and they're still trying to figure that out. I don't know if he is saying that. In fact, I don't think Carlos Loughlin is saying that either. We talked about this on the Monday pod. Like, there's 2 coaches in the preseason who were like banging the table that they had 4 or 5 guys that they could play. And we were like, oh, sure. I'm sure you do. Okay, they're playing 4 or 5 tight ends every single game, and now they're playing 4 running backs every single game. And sure, do we expect them to play forward every single game? No. But I'm almost not even looking at it as 4. I'm looking at it as 3 plus Donaldson, because Donaldson has turned into their situation back, whether it's 3rd down and long or 3rd down and short or 2nd. If there is a situation, C.J. Donaldson is on the field. The other 3 are just kind of fighting for playing time. And so far what we've seen is Bo Jackson, for 6 games that he's played in, he's popped at times. Isaiah West got extended meaningful reps for the first time in his career against Wisconsin, and he popped. And James Peoples has been like a bit of a roller coaster. I think he's had good moments, and I think he's had the most extreme on both ends of the spectrum, which is why it feels like he's third wheeling this thing. And I'm not sure they're viewing it as that, because then you look at his just normal numbers, and it's like, okay, 5.1 yards per carry. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's just kind of what it is. I don't think they are looking for a hierarchy. I think Carlos Loughlin wants to play as many guys as he feels he wants to play. Some games that'll be 4, some games that'll be 2, some games that'll be 3. It's never just going to be 1. That's the key here. And I don't know if I agree with it, but it's what they're doing, because it's going to get them through a 16 or 17 game schedule. 614-350-3315. It's a 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. And go listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts. We're going to continue this conversation here, because it's a new world, right? 2019, J.K. Dobbins is getting the ball 300 times. And then last year, they won a national championship with neither running back having more than 200 carries. And they both had 1,000 yards. And now they've doubled it again. Now they got 4 guys that they're trying to get into the mix here. And I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's different. And I think we're all trying to wrap our heads around that. So go listen to the podcast and go get the text 614-350-3315. This will probably continuously be the conversation over the next 2 weeks. I also don't believe in Penn State the way they used to believe in Penn State. That's Andrew. That's Stefan.
We don't believe in Penn State.
I said Penn State has a few talented players.
Okay. I'm just making sure, because both of you keep like taping your conversations with them of, listen, they still got good football players.
Could Denai Dennis Sutton do some things to make Ohio State's running game struggle at times?
Not with the way that Jim Knowles has been using him.
This is another running back situation. Katron Allen, 6.2 yards a carry. If that dude played for Maryland, we would be like, hey, that's a good running back.
Except he doesn't play for Maryland. He plays for Penn State. 614-350-3315. That's an SEC if. 614-350-3315. 2-week free trial. $3.99 after that. Steven, Stefan, Andrew. See ya.